What's up, y'all? Um, we've had some time to kind of think about the album, and uh, you know, they're still growing on me. I have not read any Genius. I've been strictly listening to lyrics, as you guys know. I've told you guys my story when I used to listen to Lupe Fiasco. It's crazy. The triple entendres and everything that used to come out of his music would just be more and more appealing and exciting as we didn't have internet back in the days. We had America Online, and that was really the most you could do online to look up There's no Genius and all that, so it was just a different time, and you mostly had barbershop talks and just kind of word of mouth to kind of dissect lyrics and meanings. And I think art in itself is beautiful because it's all about perspective, and that's kind of one of the themes about this album. It's all about perspective and how you receive art and the messages that's the beauty of the music. It's how you perceive it and what you think about it and what it means to you, and how you create your own relations to it and how that translate into the music. So I just think that Kendrick, of course, man, did a great job all throughout this project. Got the people talking, of course. Definitely went over the lines a little bit, but it's Kendrick Lamar. The one thing I wanted to say too is it's crazy because as much as I'm gonna praise Kendrick all throughout this album, I still think that where I say 8.5, 9 out of 10, whatever you guys think. Again, y'all, some music is subjective. You guys like what you like. I think I was pretty solid on what it was, 8.5. Borderline 9 out of 10. This album is definitely amazing, but Kendrick was probably the only person that could get away with this. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but it's toe stepping, very outspoken. Again, it's very personal because Kendrick wants to talk and speak from his perspective, how he feels, and it's about him expressing himself, flaws and all. But the society, the culture, and the society that we're in now. I know a lot of people hate me saying cancel culture, but it's a big topic all over this album. Essentially, it's one of the big themes on the album, and for Kendrick, he doesn't really kind of care about that. While he's going to express himself. Now, say if any other big artist did this, man, everybody always wants to talk about, bigger artists kind of, should speak out, and athletes should speak out, and Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, they get it all the time. Cam Newton was getting it for a little bit when he was on his top. Michael Jordan, all that. Like, people want you to voice your opinions, but it's a double-edged sword at the end of the day. J. Cole, Drake, Future, any other artist who says they can't do it, I think that's a little bit disrespectful, but I just think that it's not more so they can't do it. I just think that the risk is just not worth it if you really think about it. But Kendrick, man, again, man, stepping again, going against the grain, speaking his heart out, man. Y'all know I'm not good with words, right? And for the most part, whatever comes to thought, I'm gonna let you guys know. Whatever ponders across my mind, if I think about it, it's gonna ponder my mind. So I'm just gonna kind of go through the album with y'all, and for me, tell you guys how it felt. Now, you guys can correct me in the comment box as well about certain tracks, because I do remember there's a couple lines I had it written down, but I threw it away about he said something about the media, and he basically said, if your opinion, you guys can quote me, I know I'm wrong about this, but he said your opinion in the media, you shouldn't even have an opinion in the media, because at these days, you're literally fucked. You're literally looked at as, mass mob media, all that. They'll pounce on you. So nowadays, everybody just shuts the fuck up and minds their business, and which kind of says freedom of speech is kind of taken away to a degree, but I think Kendrick Lamar was also right about that, but then he goes on to this whole album speaking for himself, speaking how his flaws, how once upon a time he was this person, not anymore. I think too, man, a lot of people realize, man, that like a lot of people were giving this album a 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10 first listen. And again, I understand that it's a first listen, so whatever you feel about it first, it's really not going to matter. It is still an opinion at the end of the day. If I feel like if it's 6.5 out of 10 when I first listen to it, that's exactly what it is, the first listen. But I think that Kendrick went through the pandemic and went through tough times through the last 4 years or 2, 3 years, like all of us did. And I think as he's gotten older now, or at least from what I took from it, as he's gotten older now, his outlook on life is just way different from what he thought it was. You know, I think that him having Kodak Black on the album kind of said that for itself. I said the baby also would have worked as well. A lot of people didn't like that. And I think that's also another topic. Not everybody's going to like what you like. And as you grow up, it is what it is. The problem is, in this generation, is no one can accept that. Everybody thinks empathy is entitled. I will not. My part 2 Kendrick video, somebody said that, and that really actually hit me hard. I don't know his name, but I give you credit for it, bro. I won't take your flowers. But he said empathy is entitlement. And I was sitting there, I was just like, that is very true. You don't have to you don't have to like everything, but at the same time, it's all about respect. I think respect is required from everybody. I feel like, well, respect is given, and is earned, not given, right? But I feel like you should always walk to somebody with respect. But I think a lot of people get respect confused with likability or likeness. You know, you don't have to like something and then be frowned upon for it. I think that's kind of what goes down to as well. So for him, also, this album is also about healing. Again, I'm all over the place, but y'all can stop me whenever y'all want to stop me. It's all about healing as well. And the reason Kodak's on here is because everybody has different viewpoints of healing. I saw some people were getting mad because Kodak didn't exactly acknowledge his past trauma and what he did. But again, who are you to play God? That's exactly what I'm saying. Who is the mass mob witch hunt? A lot of people don't like to say that. Oh, by the way, man, if you want me to talk about Auntie Diary on here, just realize that part is not coming. So if you want to hit the X button and get up out of here, by all means, respectfully, you can. Now, this is exactly what Kendrick was talking about, because people are probably going to be like, you're not going to talk about it? You're going to get mad? Like, now you're going to get mad because I'm not talking about it. And then now you're going to go further on to assume that since I don't want to talk about it, I'm transphobic. And then now you're finna go on here and say, see how that works? It's just a simple, like, I'm not going to talk about it. You can just leave. And then we're going to keep it like that. But the Kodak Black thing, man, I was kind of skeptical when I first heard it as well. You know, he basically said that, like, it kind of in a sense showed Kendrick defending. That's what I took it as he was defending Kodak Black. And I don't know, like, that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, because people nowadays like to assume and like to, you know, compound different kind of assumptions on you, right? Like, it's like if you fuck with Kodak, so that means you fuck with sexual assault, meaning you sexually assault your wife, meaning you're a bad person, and meaning you're an advocate of sex. You see how that compounds? And that's a normal, that's an everyday thing that happens every day on the internet. Live by the sword, die by the sword. So at this point, it's kind of like Kendrick just going against the grain and not really giving a fuck, and like saying like, hey, look, this is somebody who's in our community who has been going through what he's going through. And it may not look like he's trying to change, but he is changing in his own regard. And that's something that maybe you don't like. And again, you don't have to like it. And I wouldn't at this point say, because respect is earned, not given, you don't even have to respect them. But I just think that it's kind of more so now at this point, a mind your business kind of thing. You know, like, everybody hates Kodak so much. Everybody now lives on this internet life where you're just on the internet. Could you imagine being on the internet all day? You got 2 followers. You're just on Twitter all day, and your whole life is to literally just be angry at random people around the world that you don't know, that you don't have any ties to, that you just wake up all day to hate. I cannot fathom what that feels like, or why would you even want to be in that place as a human being? We're now in an era, a society where dismissing and second chances are impossible. I mean, at this point, is anybody, if you do one bad thing, which everybody in their life has done a bad thing. Now, do people know about it? Maybe not, but people have done bad things. I've stolen before. Yes, I've stolen before from Walmart when I was a kid. I say it. Oh, feds gonna get me. Yes, I stole $3 gum. Yes. And so people do not, are you saying people don't deserve a second chance? And I think that's kind of what Kendrick was doing here, because he also explains a lot in these tracks. For example, Father Time, for example, Mr. Morale, for example, even Silent Hill. You know, there's a line where he mentioned R. Kelly, and again, music is about perspective. The reason I always mention myself, a lot of people think that I'm full of myself. I don't really care what people think about that, but music for me is how my relatability and how I can tie my experiences to the musical aspect of it. Now, sonically, it's always an important feature for me, but that's why music hits me so hard, and why all these albums on this wall have a great story that's tied to me. That's why they're on my wall. And so for me, man, he basically said that as a black African American, I'm also Asian, I'm Filipino, father, you know, growing up without a father, or growing up with trauma when you're younger. A lot of people saying that's not an excuse. You know, they would say it is not an excuse. They will argue about it. There's definitely many arguments that go with it, but maybe if our environment was different, maybe we wouldn't be so, you know, aggressive. Maybe we wouldn't be so defensive, so guarded, so proud. Maybe a lot of things would change. Who knows? We can't speak on that, because obviously you can't speak on the past, and what it happens is happens. Maybe he's saying R. Kelly wouldn't be that. Then you have people coming out saying that he defends R. Kelly. That means he defends rape. That means he defends pedophilia. You know, like it comes to the point now where it's like, you know, it's live by the sword, die by the sword, you know? And I think that he was showing here that, I didn't say I was going to talk about Auntie Diaries, but empathy. I think in the perfect world, Kendrick wants to show the world empathy. You know, he did say one line, Auntie Diaries, is like, when he was talking about, is it religion? Y'all know what I'm talking about, this line. He said, my religious beliefs about the preacher, but then now kind of conflicting with his internal beliefs about being a human being. And that's a whole other topic, bro, because I always say religion. I'm not a religious ass person. I respect religion, people that do what they do. I'm not religious at all by any means. But that religion shit, you know, people try to push religion onto you. I have people that do that nowadays at the gym and stuff and whatnot. When people try to push religion onto you, that's also another bubble that you have to kind of respect. Like, no, I don't like that shit. I respect it, but I don't like religion. And I don't need you to push that down my throat, because it's not the right way. Do what you do. I just don't fuck with religion. Now, you can say that I'm going to go to hell. You can say whatever you want. The anti-devil. See, you see what I'm saying? See how that all works out now? And it's like, okay, like, that's fine. Just don't let me have to fight you. You know, like you see what I'm saying? Like, you know, just all right, you do what you do. And I think that in this perfect world that Kendrick Lamar wants to create is, you know, that he's talking about, it's just impossible. It's definitely a great attempt, and it's definitely, you know, for you to have a platform, using your platform to talk, because again, he is not our savior. He is not, and I think that's the beauty of it too. Like, he's not our savior. He's not this God that we all label him as. He's not this, you know, just Mecca, you know, activist. He's literally just another human being on this planet who is listened to by masses. But again, he's not your savior. He is not a role model. Shout out to Charles Barkley. Another real one left on this earth. He's literally here, but at the same time, he's going to speak how he speaks, so it comes off as if he's a savior. He didn't ask for that. So that's why I said the perspective thing is kind of just like, he's not God, but he's playing God. But is he God? Like stop doing that. Do I got to keep saying I'm not your savior? Fuck it, I am your savior. You're like, you know, like it kind of looks at it when you know the different perspectives you receive throughout the album. And getting back to my topic again, I suck at words. I suck at staying on topic, but it just shows that Kodak Black if we're gonna move on in this world, and you want empathy to be worldwide, and you want compassion to be worldwide, and you want healing, and you want acceptance, and you want all this, then you can't pick and choose when you want to be empathetic. You can't pick and choose who gets the band hammer and who gets the praise, because God is God. Like, sorry, I got my Tamagotchi, nigga. God is God. You know, God, like, and that's another thing. Is God really God? The entity of entity. I won't even say God, because again, I don't believe in religion, but like, the entity is the entity. You're playing like you are the president of the world. I think that's a better term. So if this kid who Kodak Black, who is from Pompano, South Florida, and I know y'all don't know about South Florida, me being from South Florida, it is rough out there, and him from being from Pompano, a lot of people, you think you would understand, but do you really understand the environment that Kodak had to go through? Do you really understand the trials and tribulations that Kodak had to go through? Do you understand the father figure, lack thereof, what Kodak had to go through? So can you really put yourself in that shoes to understand that? And the answer really is nah. And again, you can feel any type of way. And again, it goes back to what I was saying. You see how the beauty of it is, because now it's like I just got done saying empathy is entitlement, and I just got done saying respect is earned, not given. So you don't have to like Kodak now. But then it just kind of goes back. Now we're in this never-ending cycle of the world. Hell, what? Black people have been oppressed for the last, what, 500 years? Slavery, like 500 years? I think it was 1522 or something like that. And we're still going through racism nowadays. It's just a never-ending cycle. And I think social media has definitely made it worse. And I think that Kendrick is just now realizing, in his perspective, is that there's nothing much I can really do except, you know, change myself. There was also another line he said, there's like, love thy neighbor. I think that was also in Auntie Diaries, where he was talking about love thy neighbor. But in reality, like, no one really cares about your neighbor. Like, no one really cares about anything else other than themselves, to a degree. Die Hard is probably one of my favorite tracks on here. I know a lot of people didn't really like Die Hard. N95 also, man. So N95, when I first heard it, you know, again, everybody has their spark notes. When I first heard N95 was about, you know, obviously N95 is a mask. So, and then all throughout the track, it's like, take it off. So the symbolism there is kind of beautiful for me. That's where I first looked at it. And you out of pocket, you know, the whole time they're just laughing. I have not watched the video yet. I heard the video was really good. And then Worldwide Steppers too, I believe that was the track when he talked about the opinion. But Die Hard was the track for me where I think that it was kind of just like the radio mainstream kind of track for Kendrick Lamar and his attempt at it. I thought it was really good. I became a new fan of Blast X. But I think that it kind of, I mean, one thing I will say, like, I've been praising this so much, but cons is like Kendrick cannot, he can sing, but it's not as good as, you know, it's not accepted, at least. I mean, I fuck with it, but I can see why people hate the singing Kendrick. You know, it's not really like, it's like, it's, you know, it don't hit you like, you know, like other artists do it. You know, he just doesn't have the sensualness, and I feel like he has the soul for it, but just not the vocality and the just the feeling of what singing usually does, you know, to serenade people and whatever or whatnot, and to feel it. I think Father Time also was a track that you know, just kind of reflects on our community, showing, you know, having no father figure, especially in the Black community, man. It's tough, man. You know, not growing up with a father figure definitely plays a role. The masculinity, whatever, you know, growing up to be a man, you know, it teaches you, it basically, as a woman, to raise you, you know, and single moms, they do their best, but it just leaves this void out of you, you know, and you kind of got to learn, essentially, by trials and tribulations. And usually sometimes it just doesn't go as you think it goes. That's why a lot of That's why a lot of black teens are in gangs, and because the gang is essentially like your brothers, like your father figures, in a sense. As fucked up as that sounds, it's true. And so that's why I see Father Time, man. Sanford doing beautifully great on the hook, man. I thought Rich Spirit, man. Rich Spirit was like, I like when he switched to the second half of the brother. I still think the brother thing is funny. And I think that's kind of another track that was really like it was being rich in spirit, man. Just kind of thinking about that, like, you know, being beautiful inside, trying your best to be the best person and that you can be while you're on this earth. Now, there's another track on here, because I always say, I said part 2. If you guys agree with this, part 2 is better than part 1. We Cry Together. We Cry Together is probably, like I said, We Cry Together is the track where, again, it's about perspective. The art is beautiful because it's how you receive it and what you relate it to and how you're hearing it. And I think that, especially, you know, single mom, RP to Kevin Samuels, you see how that shit went. You know, the conflicting battle that goes between black marriages, and, you know, it's a constant argument. And this track right here, We Cry Together, while I don't think it was a great track sonically, I think it was a great message and what it needed to do, to talk about it, you know, the toxicity of relationships, how, you know, you're talking and Kendrick being disrespectful, and they hate each other, and they're saying all these foul things about each other. And towards the end now, you know, they're making up, they're making love, you know, babies happen, mistakes happen. I think there's a movie about it. I mean, if you guys have seen Baby Boy, I know a lot of my viewers are younger. I love you, Jody. I love you, Jody. You know, Tyrese. You know, it's funny when you really look at it. So if you We Cry Together is literally Baby Boy. That's what the movie's called, Baby Boy, in audio form. If you want to know what We Cry Together is, go watch Baby Boy. It's literally the best interpretation of that. Like, it goes hand in hand. Now, Purple Hearts is probably one of the only tracks. Well, I didn't like United in Grief. I forgot to tell you guys that. But Purple Hearts is, I do think United Grief is a great title. I still think Count Me Out is the more elite and is the one of the best tracks on the album. But I think that Purple Hearts, for me, Summer Walker and the booty thing, and I like it just, and then Ghostface Killer with the spirit. I love Ghostface, but it's one of those tracks where it got to mesh. The artists have to come together. They have to, you know, make this track where, like, it just didn't go together for me. And for that, it's kind of just like come on, for real, you know. And I just think that was one of those tracks where it is a filler, and it is one, like Die Hard. It is one of those tracks that come together, and it's best to kind of, like, a lot of people say they skip that. They skip What We Require Together, and they go to Purple Hearts, and they go straight to Count Me Out, which I don't blame them, because now this is where the album actually really hits for me, because, again, it's all about a personal thing. Count Me Out, man. You know, you just feel, you know, you can just literally feel it, man. You hear Count Me Out, and, you know, it's just, man, like, Count Me Out literally just goes to show you the end of Mortal Man. If you hear on Tube Pimp Butterfly, when, if shit hits the fan, are you really a fan? You know, at the end of the day, like, and you'll realize, man, like, love is like seasons. I think he also, yeah, love is like seasons. I've used that before, but Kendrick said it in a song. Love is like seasons, man. You know, they'll love you in the fall and hate you in the winter, you know, and it's just like that, essentially saying how fast people can switch up on you, and then you really find out who's really for you. So after saying, I think everything that he was kind of explaining in disc 1, it is disc 1. I'm sorry, go to Spotify. There is 2 discs, but going to disc 1, you know, hearing all these tracks and hear him kind of shit on cancel culture and basically say he's going to say what the fuck he wants, whether you care or not. Fuck your feelings, fuck your, like, you know, like, but then you count me out. Like, you're still counting me out. He's been on every magazine. He's done everything. What is the fame really to him? Do I really care? And I think that why this album hits me, because y'all know me, I'm a little bit old. I mean, me and Kendrick about the same age, 32, 33, you know, and I'm 31. So it kind of just, when you really look at it, man, like, people just really, again, empathy is entitlement. live by the sword, die by the sword. Again, I give that dude his flowers, man, because no one owes you anything. No one has to like you. No one has to, praise you and all that. And so, in that track, he's kind of just like saying, count me out, because now we get into another track, which I felt like was probably one of the sleepers of the album. A lot of people actually hate this, but Crown is man, like, you guys saw how I was feeling too, man. And one thing that I laughed about, because I said it's kind of comparable with this whole theme of the album, was the fact that, obviously the song was "You Can't Please Everybody." I'm looking at the lyrics right now, just remembering. This is like, this big responsibility was essentially given to Kendrick when he was the top rapper, and which is kind of a lot of it was provoked as well. You made Control, you say you're top, then you win at everybody, you win at Drake, Big Sean, like Jay Electronica, like you asked for this. But then again, it's all about perspective. As you get older, you realize, like, what was I thinking? What was I when I was young? It's about growth, second chances, learning, and all that stuff, and so. But you can't get that nowadays with this witch hunt, cancel culture, mass mob mentality. You do one wrong step and you're fucked. And I think that's where the risk comes from. Just shut the fuck up. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. So why say anything at all? Who cares? I'm gonna mind my business. I think that's kind of the best. I'm gonna mind my business and sip my tea. And so with Crown, the progression throughout the song was amazing as well. I don't know why people didn't like this. I'm a big Andre 3000 fan, as you guys can see, man. The love below right there, speaker box, man. And you can kind of know, man, for me, man, who knows that album word for word. I don't usually memorize words, so when I memorize words, y'all know it's that fire. So for me, man, it's kind of just listening to that and hearing, the progression of, I can't please her, you can't please her, love gonna get you killed, and it's getting higher and higher, and you can't please everybody, like, you hear that shit, and it's just like, you just feel, man. And the one thing I wanted to say is, when I did my part 2 video, my Auntie Diaries, what I said, I mean it wholeheartedly, and I stand by what I say. Bass, that's what people said I was. Bass, I didn't even know that was a word. Bass, I'm a boomer, so apparently, but I truly believe in what I said. But I poured my heart out on that Crown. No pun intended. I poured my heart on my Crown. As a lot of people didn't really know, man, I had a crazy 2021. Financially, 2020 was my best year, and my 2021 was probably one of the worst years of my life. And I'm always a firm believer of handling everything yourself. At the end of the day, you can lie to everybody, but you can't lie to yourself. And you can say that you're all right, you can tell people that you're all right, but in the end of the day, it's your internal demons that you're fighting with. So if you're telling everybody you're like, yeah, I'm all right, yeah, and you're inside, you're boohooing, and you're thinking about suicide, and you're thinking about stuff like that, then it's the demons will forever haunt you. You can't do that. So that's why I said, when you're really internally good with yourself, that's freedom. That's beautiful. So for me to say that and to share that with y'all, and it just kind of again shows Mr. Morale and Big Steppers all throughout if you go watch my part 2 of my video, and I'm not asking for empathy, I don't care. Again, I handle everything myself, but I had to share that with because I was in a moment, especially being drunk. And for me to kind of share that moment, a powerful moment ever, I would say, in my channel, because not a lot of people know that. And my best friends in my close circles don't even know I was going through stuff in 2021, legal shit and all that shit and everything. Again, this is following my best financial year in 2020, COVID, to again go in 2021. And then it's like, if you go, like, obviously, if you read the comments, it's literally about nothing but negativity. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I look at it. It's kind of just like, no one ever looks at the positive things that you do in life. That's anything. I think he also said, oh, there was another song. Can you guys get in the comments below? When he was talking about, all the favors that you did, and then they're getting amnesia. I think it was actually in Crown. It was actually in Crown where he was talking about amnesia. And basically all the accolades, all of the favors that you did. And then the one time, you kind of go against the grain or say how you feel, now you're a villain. Now you're, you know, you're flawed. Or now you're whatever. And again, that's just that's again that negativity into the one thing, to where now you want to essentially destroy somebody. You see where I'm coming from? And so that's why I said that as much as you guys didn't like Kodak being on this album, it just showed a lot of grit, and it showed a lot of moving forward from Kendrick. Because if we're gonna get better in this life, if you want to be humane and you want to be open to forgiveness and acceptance and just all of the above, then you got to look at yourself in the mirror. And if you really truly believe that, not being this fake woke advocate on the internet who's angry, and, you know, like, if you truly believe that, then you got to push forward for that world we live in. Now, do I think that world is obtainable? No. I just don't think it's obtainable, and I don't think it's a realistic. I don't think it's realistic ideology, but you got to try, right, when you're on Earth. Probably my two favorite tracks on here, man. Savior. I think Savior is Savior, man. Oh my God, Savior interlude. Get in the comments below. Do you think Savior interlude or Savior is better? That's what I really want to do. Do you think Savior interlude is better, or do you think Savior is better? I think Baby Keem was literally going crazy on that with the violin progression, man. It was so insane. The instrumentation all over that album is also fire. I don't know what the fuck people talking about saying they hate that shit, but Savior, man. Sam Do, I remember from Wale, that Wale song. That's my, that's my shit, boy. But Kendrick Lamar, man, I thought that was the "Are You Happy For Me?" That is like when shit hits the fan. Are you happy for me? Are you really happy for me? And again, I thought that was probably the most complete track on that album in terms of mainstream, in terms of message. It just was a beautiful ass track to listen to. Auntie's Diaries sonically was a great track. We Will Agree to Disagree. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Empathy is entitlement. Just because somebody dislikes what's that called, does not mean they don't respect you. My trans athlete comment makes you think I'm a transphobe. It is what it is. I accept that, and we're gonna keep it moving. That's exactly how I look at it as. So, the only thing I will say I apologize is to my trans subscribers. If you felt that I disappointed you, if you felt that, then from the bottom of my heart, I apologize to you if I broke your heart. But again, y'all know my topics about it. Again, respect it, all that. I will always respect every person. But when it comes to a topic as that, not that it had anything to do with it, I'm a creator. I'm a streamer. You gotta remember, it's not a reaction channel anymore. I'm a podcaster, streamer. You know, when thoughts come to my head, I say how I feel. And yeah. So the message of the song, I don't even want to talk about that, because again, I think from this moment on, I will just not even talk about it. It's kind of like hypocritical on my part, because people just said I was based, or I said I was based, whatever that means. But it's just not worth the risk assessment. It's like politics, religion, LGBTQ community is literally what it's coming down to. The three things now you just don't talk about, because it's just not worth the risk. Why? No one's ever going to agree with you. Anything you say or do, you're going to die by the sword. Are you going to live by the sword? So why? Why even try to argue with it? It's like it's going to be like two brick walls trying to talk to each other. You know, nothing's ever going to change out of that, you know. But again, though, remember, you don't have to like something to respect something. You can still show respect and you know, compassion to a human being and still dislike them. You know, not everybody has to like you. It is what it is. Not everybody likes everybody. Like, it goes for black, white, Asian, blah, 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 blue, like, blah, blah, like, it just, some people can show respect, but just like, yo, I don't like that. It's just your preference, you know, and you can't, you know, push that onto other people. Like, it's just, the sleeper album, the sleeper of the track, I would say, is Mr. Morale. Mr. Morale, I called it because that Pharrell beat was going crazy. It felt like this, like, I don't know, like I got like this kind of like jungle, very primal kind of feeling when I listened to the Mr. Morale track. I loved it from start to finish, man. And it definitely grew on me. And it's just insane, man. Like listening to that track and, you know, I love that. I think that for Pharrell and Kendrick, I call him Lamar. Kendrick, they're so great together on tracks. Like they're just so great, and I fucking love, like, you know, the message like all throughout that track. Mr. Morale is better also than Big Steppers. If you guys ask me, I don't know. We can get the comments below. Let me guys know. Big Morale is better than Big Steppers, and then, you know, Mother I Sober, man, was probably one of the I don't know, man. Like that one really hit me, and it just really hit me because I don't know, man. It was a lot of reflection from K Dot. It was a lot of just like, you know, I think the one line that really hit me here is where they handed me smoke, but I still declined. I did it sober, sitting with myself. I went through all emotions, no dependence, except for the one, let me bring you closer, intoxicated. That's a lustful nature that I failed to mention. Insecurities that I project sleeping with other women. Whitney's hurt, the pure soul I know, found her in the kitchen, asking God where I lose myself and can it be forgiven. That line actually, like, when I heard that shit, it was kind of just like, because, again, it's the product of your environment, man. Like, how can one really understand if they never really been through it? And do you expect people to understand? I don't know. That's a tough kind of topic, really. You know, all you can really do is say your side of the story, and if people accept you, they accept you, and if they don't, they don't. But I think that track right there showed a lot of reflection from K Dot and stuff that he kind of went through, and you know, his perspective, not really giving a fuck what people think. But again, every other artist would have been canceled. So it's great that K Dot did it, but it's just unfortunate that only K Dot could really do it, because anybody that goes against the grain like that is taking more ridicule than anything and more slander. And K Dot only gets it because he truly doesn't give a fuck about the cancel culture and all that. And yes, that is a big thing. You know, a lot of people recently, as much as I talk about it, because I've been talking about it for like the last year. And for people who are saying, like, literally saying like it's nothing, it's not even a real thing. And for Kendrick Lamar to kind of make an album themed around it, it's like, are we really here? Are you guys paying attention? You know, like, and I just think that right there, man, like, that is beautiful, man. Mirror is also another track. Like I said, you look in the mirror and you realize, man, basically throughout the song, he says, I choose me. Sorry. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, that's pretty, it's a simple line, but it has to be said nowadays. Like, he chooses himself. I'm sorry. Like, and if you can't like that, then, like, it's kind of like, hit that X button, get the fuck up out of here. If you don't support me, if you don't support Kendrick Lamar, then get out of here. Like, there's nothing else I can do for you, but this is what you're going to get. You either accept it or not. And kind of just looking in the mirror and like, when you look at this album, man, it's just, because you never know who he's talking from too. Like, he definitely went through, obviously, Auntie's Diary, and obviously the track with the, you know, the back and forth with the woman. We know where that was coming from, but there's times in the album where you're just kind of confused on, if you really listen, like, who is he speaking from? You know, who is Mr. Morale? Who is Big Stepper? Like, if you had to ask me, man, again, I know my words were ever, and I know it's a long ass video. If you had to ask me, I would say that my, for me, the album was all about acceptance, loving, forgiveness, realisticness, all of the above of kind of just like what's been transpiring over the last 3.5 years. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you think this is bad right now, if it continues to keep going at the rate that it's going, it's only gonna get worse. it's only gonna get worse. And at that point, do you just live in the world, or do you try to change it? Do you try to conform to it, or do you just try to live your life? It's really hard nowadays because you just gotta mind your business at this point, man. It's getting out of hand, and a lot of people really don't understand that. But I think the internet, man, is lovely. Obviously, it pays a lot of people, but obviously it hurts a lot of people. And I think that the internet is the most double-edged tool in the world. Shouldn't last like what, 200 years. The internet is literally like some different shit, for real, for real. Get in the comments below, man. Let me know if I missed some things, man. Let me know if you I'll probably do it on stream if you want me to talk about certain things, except that one thing. But let me know if I miss anything. You guys know I'm not really great with my words. My thoughts kind of just go all over the place, man. The ADHD be kicking in. But let me know if you just need me to talk about something, and I will kind of bring it up there. But until the next time, man, thank y'all for subscribing. Thank y'all for supporting. Thank y'all for listening. If you sat here the whole time and listened to me, I appreciate you guys heavy, man. Appreciate you guys heavy, man. Album was amazing, man. 8.5 out of 10, borderline 9 out of 10. I do think it's one of the best albums of the year. And we will probably do a you know what, get the video 1,000 likes. We'll do 1,000 likes. You know, I've been doing likes crazy. This is a regular video. 1,000 likes. We'll do a top 5 riding with Dev. My favorite tracks, top 5 riding with Dev. We haven't done a ride with Dev in a while. 1,000 likes. We'll crush that shit, man. Until the next time, this has been with Dev. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting. Like always, man, I'm going on vacation for the next 2 weeks. Going to Costa Rica, boy. I'm about to be an island boy. I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for supporting me. Thank y'all for supporting me these last 6 years. And till next time, man, I love y'all, man. Always one love. To y'all. Peace.